All right, day 2 of tube rear 3000. It's a little Type R right there. Anyways, we're back. We're gonna finish cutting the car up and start bending some pipe and getting this thing. We're gonna lay the pipe. Yeah, we're gonna lay the pipe all in the car and then get this thing all done up and full race card out. All right, we figured out where that line, the big line that goes, I was talking about last night, that goes through the frame rail here. It's actually the vent that goes through the frame rail and then up to the fill tube. I guess that's for while filling?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That's the shutoff.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
One thing Mitsubishi did a really good job at, and it was these screws. And
oh yeah.
Nope.
It's out.
They did a great job.
We got
like
2 of the 3.
All these screws are so hard to get out.
Oh my god, that wasn't coming out.
No.
Disclaimer, kids, wear safety goggles.
Yeah, remember, always wear eye protection. We're trying to cut all the floor out from the frame rails and then all the way down along the frame rail so that when we just have to cut across the back and the whole thing will fall off in one piece.
Hard on or video?
I just get you? I got your glove. Well.
Oh, turning back now.
I'm done. Now you gotta figure out the tubing though.
JB Weld, right?
Fuck yeah, brother.
Going up, down, left, right.
Woo! Woo! Well.
Oh my god. This thing's definitely got some weight to it.
Well.
I found your diff.
All right. Both sides are cut off. I'm gonna be taking that, reusing that. We're gonna be reusing this. But here it is, 3000 GT. Whole rear end cut off. We're gonna be cutting the tubs out. But that's where the frame is cut there. And then we cut this fuel tank mount off. We're gonna be cutting this one off as well. Here's the other frame rail. So yeah, I'm literally standing in the trunk of my car right now. This is kind of crazy. But our plan is to have the frame rail come out, bend straight to be in line of where we need it to be. And then we're gonna have that plate from the crash beam. We're gonna weld that to the end of it so that the bash bar will bolt right up to that. And then we're going to have a crossbar to support, tabs for the fuel cell. We're gonna make a cradle for the fuel cell out of 1x1. And then we're gonna have a bar go from each frame rail up to the shock tower for additional support. So we got a lot of work to do, but I'm gonna keep on keeping on here and get it done. All right, so Paulie is cutting out these plates that are going to cover up the frame rails and provide us a point to mount the tube for the frame rail to go off of. All right, so Paulie welded some plates up on here. So these capped in the frame rail, and these are gonna be what we weld the tube to the middle of to like come out and bend and make the rear. So right now, what are you cutting these guys? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna reuse this mount just so that it bolts up to the bash bar over there, and it just makes it easier. We don't have to recreate a flat piece. Nice. Might be a tad. Like the shape a little bit off.
Go long?
Oh, no. All right, good. All right, so we're packing it up. tube here with the bash bar mount. So we're gonna tack it up and hang the bash bar, take some measurements and make sure that everything is like square, and then move forward with creating, well, fully welding it and then creating a fuel cell mount. But you got a nice little 14-degree bends here. All nice and fancy. But yeah, like I was saying before, this is pretty much just chopped off from the stock frame rails, slid in here, and welded in place to provide the same mounting point for the bash bar that we had before. I looked through the phone. All right, so we finally got the bash bar lined up and the bumper fits. So Paulie is doing the final welds on the plate back here. So that's done, and I think now we can move forward. I think the next step will be figuring out where we're gonna mount the cell, where we're gonna mount the battery, the pump, and all that, and start making the casing, like the cradle for the fuel cell.
What are you doing, Mike?
It's a virgin chassis.
Virgin chassis.
Nah, saves some more.
So Paulie's working on the support arms that will go from there up to there. We cut that little piece out on each side. We put a plate on the shock tower on the side so that it will go directly to the shock tower. We're gonna weld it to that area, but it wasn't really a structure piece. So right to the shock tower. That's pretty sweet.
Hey. Maybe not that high, but over there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Ooh. I like it. That looks awesome.
Symmetry guy.
All right, so the tubular part of this is all done. Come in here. Top support bar is welded to the shock tower. Comes down, and there's a bar that crosses to link the back pieces together behind the bash bar. And what we're gonna do is get the 1x1 angle iron and go from this tube straight across to this cross member on each side, 18 inches apart. And the fuel cell will sit inside of it. And then we'll go about making the battery tray on the left side and the fuel pump mounting plate on the right side, and then start hooking things up, you know, get it all figured out. I went on Instagram Live for a little while, so follow me on Instagram. Here's the link. We just did a little 1x1 to set the cell onto. That's what Paulie's currently doing. And look at that.
I say like 35 and 38-ish.
There shouldn't be a problem with the hatch closing at that height. And there it is, laid in place. We got a cell, and it has so much ground clearance. So much ground clearance, it's crazy. All right, so we need a center support for right there. Tyler came up with the idea, which would look cool,
Fuck yeah.
is to use the square tubing and bend it. So we tried it on the pipe bender, and
Dude, that's a killer looking bend.
yeah, square tubing bends.
Not bad.
So yeah,
It goes
45
dude,
here.
It's only like kinked out just a smidge. It's really not that bad.
All right, guys. So stopping point for tonight is currently 1:15. We're beat, ready to go home. I mean, we got pretty far. We definitely got pretty far. The cell is laid out to where it will be mounted down in there. Just some final touches and such. But it looks pretty wild, especially from behind. Back up a little bit. From behind it looks really cool. It's probably gonna be a while until I put a rear bumper on this thing driving it around, but Paulie's gonna come down tomorrow and continue working on it, and I'll come down a little later on. I got some stuff to do earlier in the day. And we will hopefully be bringing it, well, we will be bringing it home tomorrow. And yeah. All right, guys, so we're back down here at Paul's Automotive. Got Paulie's trailer hooked up to my Suburban, and we're wrapping it up for the weekend, getting a bulk of the big things done. Right now, working on the fuel pump tray and the battery tray. Got the overs back on, everything kind of cleaned up. This is what it looks like from outside the car without a bumper on it. Battery tray is mounted there. Fuel pump tray is mounted right here. I'm just amazed at how much room under, like with the diff and all that, I now have. It's kind of ridiculous. All right, guys, so this is where I'm gonna end this video. It's so windy out right now, but this is where I'm gonna end this video. Car's on a trailer. We're bringing it home to Paulie's house. And I hope the wind isn't totally ruining this job, but we're gonna bring it to Paulie's house. We're gonna button the car up and finish all the odds and ends throughout this week at Paulie's house. But the main part is done. The 3000 GT officially has a tube rear, and the whole, it's all gutted and full drift car stuff. So, like this video, subscribe to the channel, guys. Stay tuned. The next video will be coming for more tube rear stuff.